Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. We're going to take a quick look here at Gala, an update from yesterday's video. Now, I want to talk briefly here about this liquidity level that has been swept. So as I talked yesterday, the price was retesting this resistance here about 2.08 cents, and we can essentially understand that this resistance level here worked very well as soon as that liquidity was swept. Okay, so we got this upper liquidity level that's been swept now. Greater chance of the price action pulling back now that it has overextended itself pretty consistently. Okay, so again, we were in overtime yesterday when we talked about this, and now we're in extreme overtime, and it makes sense for the price to pull back a little bit more aggressively now, especially with Bitcoin pulling back a little bit too. So this is standard stuff. Oh, quick little heads up too. Also, great news here. We have a new exchange that we're working with here, Blofin exchange, partnered with us here. Up until November 20th, you can take advantage of this exclusive offer. So be sure to use the link down below to register. The main reason I use this exchange is because it's no VPN, no KYC requirement, and that's really good for our US and Canadian members. So just want to make sure we have additional options for you guys in case you're not a big fan of BingX. Blofin's awesome though. They listen and they make changes quickly. So if you got any advice, feel free to forward it on over to me. Be happy to pass it on up the chain. So when it comes to Gala, let's just go ahead and start with a daily because we understand here so far that the upper liquidity level has been swept. We also want to talk about key level resistances because again, we got this previous support / resistance at about 22 cents. It worked pretty strong, just like a charm last night. As soon as that liquidity level has been swept, we take a look at the amount of volume. There's not a tremendous amount of volume at this higher price point just yet. And obviously, we have the most amount here at about the 1.4, 1.5 cent range. But truth is, we've got a lot of volume coming out of this coin here. What I mean by that is when we take a look at the money flow index, it's starting to average itself out at 70, and the RSI is coming up. Typically, when the RSI increases and the money flow comes down, that's a case in point where the price action is due for a reversal, which we're seeing right now. Big surprise, the price is dropping when the volume comes away, right? Selling pressure, okay? Truth is, though, we have a lot of momentum here with the MACD, so very much still in good shape. I'm not saying the price is going to drop super hard. In fact, I'd recommend being very, very careful with shorts right now, just because a lot of coins are surging, and this is definitely one of those. But you got to keep in mind this is its third day of consecutive green. Okay? A lot of times there's a fourth red day, or today could be that fourth day. Essentially, if you compare or utilize that first candle there. Okay, so again, all the more reason just to be kind of very careful with your trading. We also need to recognize that we have roughly about 2.22 is roughly the cent mark for the 200 SMA. Pretty much an initial rejection there, you could say. Very, very close. Okay, so the price action is going to have difficulty crossing that plane. Just be mindful of that. I don't think we're going to see that broken just yet, but it could happen soon. So let's talk about the 4 hour. This is probably the most important thing to kind of recognize. We got the price action moving up, of course. RSI is steadily increasing. Money flow index is kind of plateauing. Okay. Now, what that tells me is that the price is going to pull back because we were coming up to 70 at the RSI in that initial rejection. While we can still come above 70 on the RSI and be very successful, we typically have trouble doing that if we've overextended ourselves leading into it. Because you got to understand, the price has been running for the last 72 hours, if not more. In fact, I think it's like upwards of 100 hours if you look at this here. Because if you do the math, TD sequential, we hit a 9 on TD sequential there. We had a few days of consolidation, and the price action has continued here. So literally a very, very strong amount of volume and a consistent uptrend here. And now with the volume being high, that's a very, very good sign. It gives us that volume support. But once again, this volume isn't tremendously high. It's just kind of moderately high. And if you take a look at this here, this 4 hour candle, we got a strong doji candle, basically a gravestone candle. And that is essentially right where we had a large volume spike. It tells us there's a lot of selling pressure right here in the 2.1 to 2.2 cent range. Okay? So that's an area of contention. Okay, so we just got to be mindful that we're going to take a little bit more volume. We need a lot more volume rather to be able to pass that plane. And I think that we should see the price pull back. So if the price is going to pull back, let's talk about this here. How much further is it going to pull back? Well, let's look at the hourly kind of to understand that. Because when it comes to Elliott Wave, there's a lot of different scenarios that can play out. But this is hypothetically, if this is the highest point, right, which would make sense considering we swept that upper liquidity level and we're pulling back now, we're looking at 0.382, 0.5, or 0.618 as the common retracement level. So let's go ahead and mark this up. Again, I'm going to send this out on our playout charts through our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. They look something like this here when I send out my charts. Just be mindful that is available for you there. But the truth is that these are 3 really common retracement levels, okay? So I wouldn't be surprised if we see 0.382, basically, what is that, 2.08, or sorry, 2.06 cents, 2 cents even, and then 1.94 cents. Those are the three levels we could see the pullback to. The initial bouncing point is right here where the previous resistance was, so we might be mindful here with 0.382 could be a bouncing point. But I think the truth is we're going to come down a little bit further just based on how high we came up and how quick we came up. Okay. So again, I think long-term, Gala definitely has potential for 3 or 4 cent range here in the next couple months. But between now and then, we have to have a period of consolidation before the next leg up. It just makes a ton of sense. Okay. All right, so that's kind of all we got here for you. Hopefully this is helpful. If you found benefit, comment down below. Let me know. More importantly, what positions do you have open, and what is your bias? Are you short-term, long-term holder, or are you going to consider shorting or taking a long on this coin? Let me know. Look forward to work with you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. See you in the next one.